road test demo should take 10 minutes. If you want to close more sales, get your demo rate to 90 to 95%. It is documented through various training programs that your demo rate will directly affect your closing ratio. It is part of the sale. Whether you are selling cars, boats, or lawnmowers, customers want to know what the product will do for them and assume ownership. Once again, remember to the customer that new or slightly used car is new and exciting to them. The new car smell, the purring of the motor, the sound of the stereo system. I have been in the automotive industry for over 40 years. I have worked in a body shop. I have fixed cars at my dad's gas station, from selling cars to managing dealerships. I still get excited during new car showing and when I receive a new car to drive. It's contagious. This can and is the easiest part of the sales process. No offense to anyone who sells an intangible, but you have a shiny new car, truck to demonstrate. What can be easier than that to sell? An intangible salesperson are great salespeople because they use picture, words, and stories, which I advise you that you do the same. Use picture words. Good advice. Talk to other sales managers and sales professionals that sell intangibles. Ask them how they do their presentations, demos. Now, the road test demos should be the fun part of the sales process. Make it fun. Knowing your customers' needs by now will help you with the road test, and the demo will go well. Coming to the dealership to buy a vehicle is stressful for most people, but when you take them on a demo, you get your customer out of the building. They tend to let their guard down outside our walls. They will become more themselves, not to be so defensive on the test drive. It is important to have a specific route plan so you can drive first. Then turn the car over to the customer. There are many reasons for why you should drive the car first. Some customers are afraid to drive a new car and they don't own because they are not familiar with the gadgets of the vehicle and may be embarrassed. They may not be familiar with the area of the dealership which you are in. Let's put ourselves in their shoes, the Ben Duffy empathy selling, and understand their fears. By driving the vehicle off the lot, you have control where you want the road test to go. Your pre-planned route, by driving the vehicle off the lot first, you show your customer that the vehicle they are interested in purchasing does perform well. You can also show them some features and benefits while driving the vehicle. Remember the acronym SPACE. Have a pre-planned road test route. Have at least 3 different types of road test routes. A short one for the client that's pressed for time, one that may enable the vehicle to show the performance. Example, windy roads or short highway runs as well. Remember, the road test should only be 10 minutes long. Make all the pre-routes right-hand turns. This will be more comfortable for the customer and safe as well. When you have your customer take over the vehicle to drive, make sure you pull into either a non-busy parking lot or a side street. Never pull over on a busy street. Always go with your customer on a road test. Make sure you follow the company policy of your dealership as well. Give your pre-planned route to your sales manager or team leader. This way, they can track you if something goes wrong. Road test demo is always a great time to use some trial closes, such as, the seats feel comfortable, don't they? When you ask a closing question, always use a tie down, don't they? This red is a perfect color for your wife, isn't it? Light colors, dark colors. Remember the discovery process. The minivan will be perfect for your vacation coming up in July, you mentioned, won't it? As you approach the dealership, you can go for the ultimate trial close. It sounds like this is the exact model that's going to work for you. What do you think? If yes, ask the customer to park the vehicle in the sold row. If you don't have a sold row, just tell them to park where you usually park your vehicles after the road test and make it the sold row. This is a trial close and is also an assumptive close. Once you are in the sold row, do a few trial closes. Can you read the odometer off the vehicle for me? Our business manager is going to need it to complete the paperwork on your new vehicle. Another strong technique is, can you read off the serial number for me, please? Our business manager is going to need it to complete the paperwork for your new vehicle. If you don't have the exact model color in stock, but do have the model, you can word your close like this. Read off the model code for me, please. We are going to need that to finalize the sale once we go back to my desk. There are different techniques and questions to ask. Try a few and see what works for you and what's comfortable. Be sincere. J. Douglas Edwards, sales trainer, and Joe Girard, the world's greatest salesperson, according to the Guinness Book of Records, stated, if you want to be a great sales professional, you must have the courage to ask the closing questions. The greatest and the easiest close is the assumptive close. Assume that your customer is going to buy today. All these selling techniques are great and will help you whether you are a manager or a salesperson build value, rapport, and get the customer to like you. If you do the whole sales process, price most of the time will not be an issue and will be easy to close the deal. Most people still want a good deal. It's how we as the automotive industry have trained our own customers. I always laugh about this. You never see a consumer go into a Walmart or a large department store and make an offer. You may ask these trial closes and your customer may say something like this: yes, I like the car, but I want a good deal. I want a good deal on my trade. The opportunity close has been used by many salespeople for many years and has been used incorrectly most of the time. Example, if you could get $5,000 for your trade, would you buy today? Sounds great, and it does work sometimes, but most of the time you end up in a dogfight with your customer and they walk away angry at you because you couldn't come up with the numbers they wanted. Plus, when you sell just giving them a good deal on price, you throw away the rapport and friendship you just built with them. If you treat your customer right, you keep them for life and you even make a good friend. We can all use more friends. So how do we handle price at this time? Here's how: trial close. It sounds like this is the exact model that is going to work for you. What do you think? Customer answers, I like the car, but I want a good deal, or what can you do for me on the price? Remember, this is not the time to negotiate. Your answer should be a trial close, opportunity close, non-combative. No problem, Mr. Smith. Price is not an issue here at Johnson Motors. Review. So you like the way the vehicle handles? Customer says yes. Or you like the room in the minivan for your family? Customer answers yes. If we can agree on the numbers, could you see yourself owning, leasing this vehicle? If the answer is yes, then you are ready for the next step in the sales process. Now, how important is the road test and why should we go with our customers on the road test? Listed are a couple of stories of my own experience, and some good, some bad, which will convince you why you should always go on a road test with your customer. I learned very early in my career how important the road test is. I sold British sports cars in those days. Most of them were convertibles. We always took the top down when we road tested these vehicles, unless it was raining, and sometimes we drove them in the rain with the top down as well, just to show the customer that you can drive a convertible in the rain without getting wet, until you stop. I figured out then that driving a convertible sports car in the rain wasn't necessarily a very good idea. I sold a young man his first new car, an Austin Mini, which was a two-door hardtop subcompact. After a year of owning this little Austin Mini and very happy, he came into the dealership to buy some accessories for his Mini. He came over to say hi to me. I asked him if he had some time to talk, and he said yes. I just received my new demo Triumph Spitfire convertible sports car. I asked my customer if he was interested in driving my convertible, both of us went around the block and had a lot of fun driving this car. My customer left and went home. It was just a non-committable road test in a convertible sports car. My customer John came back that evening with his wife and wanted to trade in his Mini to buy the Triumph Spitfire convertible sports car. He didn't have an appointment. I guess he went home and he couldn't get out of his mind how much fun this great Spitfire drove. John was very happy with the Spitfire and he had it 3 years, but the story doesn't end here. John and I became good friends. Back in those days, in the 70s, there was no pay-per-view or VCR movies. Every Saturday night, the television network would have a movie that was the top billing that was not in the theaters anymore. This one Saturday night, it was the movie Smokey and the Bandit, starring Burt Reynolds. If you don't know the movie, it's about a comedy about a guy who races a black Trans Am 1977 around the country running from the law. Funny movie. Well, back in 1979, these Trans Ams were the hottest cars out there. I watched the movie Saturday night with my wife and had a great laugh. When I went to work on Monday, I noticed that we had a 1977 black Trans Am on our used car lot. It must have come in to our inventory by trade on Saturday afternoon. My friend John came into the dealership to see me Monday afternoon. John and I talked about the movie Smokey and the Bandit that we both watched Saturday night. After that, John asked if he could road test the Trans Am, so he took it around the block. What happened during the road test happened to me only one time and never happened to me in 40 years of selling cars and trucks. John, while driving the black Trans Am, grabbed me by this shirt, pulled me towards him, and said, I have to have this car. Make it happen, which we agreed on the numbers for his trade, and John was very happy with this black Trans Am. A road test can be a very powerful. John bought 2 vehicles just taking them around the block with no intentions of buying them. Second story. When I was a general sales manager, I hired a young and fairly inexperienced salesperson. After 3.5 months, he was outselling everyone. I noticed that when I checked his stats, that his demo ratio was around 98%. Now, here is a new person in the automotive business outselling everyone. He didn't have experience like all the other veterans had, but he was outselling them. Why? Because he road tested everyone that came to see him. Third story. I was a sales manager for a small-town import dealership. I noticed that a customer came into our dealership road testing one of our competitors' vehicles with a dealer plate strapped to the back of their vehicle. They came to look at our vehicle and bought the car right there at our place at that time, while our competitor's car was parked on our lot. C, the salesperson allowed the customer to road test the vehicle by themselves. Another story about a salesperson allowing a customer to road test the vehicle without accompanying them. I had a friend of mine sitting at a coffee shop on a Saturday morning when he noticed that a couple were road testing a vehicle of the same make and model that he sold without a salesperson with them. He went up to them and asked them how they liked the vehicle, which they replied they loved it. He gave them his business card and said he could give them a better deal. Just give me a call on my cell, which they did, and they bought the vehicle off him. Now, none of this is fair to the salesperson who let the person out on the road without them. This is why we always go with the customer on a road test, for security reasons and insurance reasons as well. Exercise lesson. Drive and write out 3 pre-planned road test routes. Give a copy to your sales manager. B, when you are driving some of the new vehicles, drive your pre-planned route, and then you will know your pre-planned route very well. C, write out some trial closes, practice them with your coworkers, friends, and your sales manager. D, ask the people who road test the vehicle from the service department to tell someone who may want the vehicle like that. That's called marketing. E, just do it. Have the courage to use these trial closes, plus some of the ones you know. Ask your sales manager to help you with some of the trial closes.